Welcome to Subramani. This is going to be a little controversial post, and so bear with me. Recently, watched a fund manager talk to his investors, and I was part of that. And he was insisting that people should put money in a balanced advantage fund, because this is a difficult time and it was very difficult to predict markets. So therefore he was suggesting that people should be investing in equity, in debt, in gold, and a full range of products. And they had a product which he was saying this is the best product because the fund manager will be able to move in and out of asset classes. Perfectly all right. There's one basic underlying assumption, that is, you have all your money only in that fund, because if it is one of the funds that you own, then this advice is of no use, because you still have your equity funds, you have your debt funds, maybe you have some gold, and you have a balanced advantage fund which is trying to replicate that, right? So that is kind of difficult. So you don't know. First of all, the fund manager's job is to be a manufacturer, right? There has to be clear role that he is a manufacturer. A manufacturer should manufacture. He should have, if the regulators allow, he can have an aggressive large cap fund, not very aggressive large cap fund. He can have a growth large cap fund and a value large cap fund, right? He can create 4 or 5 large cap funds. He can create 10 flexi cap funds. He can create mid cap funds, small cap funds, value funds, growth funds, international funds, hybrid funds. His job is just to manufacture, right? Have you seen the CEO of automobile company coming and saying, I think you should buy this car? He doesn't. He's just a manufacturer. If he says, he can say, I use this car, right? He can't say you should buy this car, because which car you need depends on your usage. That is something which you have to make up your mind. Maybe you talk to a salesman, maybe you read reviews, maybe you consult an advisor. I don't know how you buy a car, but that is how you buy a car. That is how you buy a camera. That is how you buy a lens, right? You go and see how many people have bought this camera. Oh, camera has been bought by so many people. This lens has been bought by so many people. This is the largest selling car. So these are very good indicators to say, okay, I am doing wildlife photography. I need this 300 to 600 lens, and I think this brand is good, and therefore I buy this brand. That is easy. Past performance, you can pick up all that, right? But the CEO of a company, CEO of another mutual fund, was again offering some advice on saying this fund of ours has done so well, this fund of ours has done so well, the volatility is so much, right? He was doing a sales pitch. That's fine, but that sales pitch should not be happening to the end investor, or the end investor should know what is happening, right? Now, take the case of a very popular financial blogger. He writes in his blog, and it really takes an expert to know which blog posts are worth reading and which are just piece of junk. If you have not practiced as a financial advisor, if you have not practiced as a fund manager, if you have not invested, if you have not created a portfolio, it is very difficult to do personal financial advisory on YouTube, right? You can say this worked for me and say this is what happened. This does not mean, which means every blogger or every blog post or every vlog should say, this is my personal experience, this has happened for me, this is my past experience. It does not mean the same thing will happen to you, simply because I do not know you. I do not know your ability to take risk. I do not know your whole portfolio. I do not have your full health report, right? So you have to understand that whether as a journalist or as a blogger or as a CEO or as a CIO, we can only say broad things. We can say markets are overpriced. It doesn't mean anything, right? It just means it's a statement, a motherhood statement. Now, the market is always overpriced for some shares and underpriced for some shares. Even today, in this market, I can find value trades. I can find value investing possibility, right? It does not mean I should only be doing value investing, or I should be saying, I am a teacher. I have never built a portfolio. I have never created wealth for myself. My business model is teaching. I teach and I make money. I have so many students who pay me money, and that is how I make money. If as an investor, I should say what worked for me as an investor. If I'm a fund manager, I have to say I'm a fund manager and this is what I do for a living, and this is what I think is happening in my portfolio or my advised portfolio. I should be talking about my product, and my product is not advisory, right? It is easy to say you should come to my blog, you should read my stuff, you should watch my videos, you should pay me for watching my videos, but I don't take responsibility for your portfolio. The honest truth is that, right? I can't take responsibility for your portfolio. I can say, okay, I sell this. I mean, the product which I have to sell are my books. Can my books position your portfolio? Can my books create your portfolio? No. Can I create your portfolio through a video? No. I can tell you this is what investing is. This is what is there in a balance sheet. This is what you should read, right? So as an investor, as a communicator, that is my responsibility. Now, for you, what is the responsibility? You have to understand the area of expertise of the person who is talking to you. So if it's an anchor, she is very hard pressed for finding time to learn everything about personal finance, right? Her own personal finance, she may be getting it done by somebody, and she may just be supervising, because for her it is tremendous amount of hard work. Every day there is some SEBI circular, some RBI circular, some expert saying something and some other expert contradicting that. She has to manage all that live on a half an hour show. How much can she do? And she may be doing 2-3 shows. So she is broadly saying what works, what doesn't work, right? Things like that. So understand the area of expertise. In the when you see video channels or TV channels, is you say everybody is called a market expert. Market expert means nothing, right? A person who knows everything about the operations of a mutual fund may not know how to pick a mutual fund for himself or herself. So that's a fact of life. So first of all, understand the area of expertise. Second, very important, look for what expertise they don't have. That is also important to know what they don't know, right? Most importantly, they don't know you, they don't know your portfolio, they don't know your age, they don't know your risk-taking ability, they don't know anything about you. So their advice is generic, it is for the market, right? More importantly, trace where that person is making money from. A person who is part of a big branded chain, say big branded media company, will have some constraints. He or she will not be able to do programs the way you will be, the way I will be able to. I have no constraint, I have no advertisements, I have no sponsors, I have nothing. I can say exactly what I want, and I could be completely wrong, and there is still nothing which just says I am liable to you, right? You can't look at my video and build your portfolio. Of course, I can give you indicators, but I may have invested in DHFL and I may want the share price to go up. You don't know my portfolio, right? I may talk up a DHFL or I may talk down a DHFL. How do you know whether I have a position? What if I have gone short on DHFL yesterday and today I am saying it's worth, I don't know why people are buying, it's a fraud and things like that. I am talking down the share. What happens if I tell you, oh, I think Vodafone is a great company, maybe I have a position, right? So you have to assume the worst. You have to understand that I make money when you buy my books. That also is history, because I've already been paid for the book, so now it doesn't really matter. I don't make money when I sell my videos, because I don't sell my videos, but I still make money on when YouTube advertisements. When you see the advertisements, I make money on that. So you need to understand where my money comes from. So the more people watch, the more people share, the more people spread, the more people subscribe, I make money. But I don't make money from any sponsor, right? So you need to understand from where we make money, from where the person who is a fund manager makes money if more people buy his fund. So a CEO or a CIO of a fund always speak like salesmen, saying, oh, we have this fund and we are the best, right? And I have very strong views on, do you even need to be invested in the best funds? Is your behavior more important than the fund returns? And I think the answer is yes. So understand each person's role and be skeptical, and that's the best way to manage your own money. Thank you.